عين الهدى مفني العدا برا كريما محسنا بحر العطايا والجدا محمد محمد.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace be with you, and welcome to a very special live edition of Around the Table, broadcasting live from Hadeeqatul Mahdi, the Garden of the Mahdi, from Alton here in a very sunny afternoon. I'm delighted to have with me usual regular panelists of Around the Table, Lutful Islam and Atiq Bhatti. Welcome, gents.
Wonderful to be here, and wonderful to be live here at the Voice of Islam during our blessed annual convention, the Jalsa Salana.
Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. And for the next 50 minutes or so, I'd like to just explore exactly what Jalsa Salana is, what it means, where it was started, what the purpose is, and then perhaps we can talk a little bit about the United Kingdom specifically and the historical journey of Jalsa Salana, where it started and where it's grown to. I'll turn to you first, Lutf. Jalsa Salana, what does it mean? Where was it initiated? What's the purpose of it?
So Jalsa Salana literally means an annual gathering or an annual conference. Jalsa would mean an event where people come and sit and listen to speeches. And Salana would mean annual. So it's a yearly gathering for the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. This is a long-standing tradition started by the founder of the community, the promised Messiah, Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad of Qadian, in 1891. So for those who don't know, the community was established by Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad in 1889, and soon after he instituted this annual gathering for his followers. And 1891 was the first year people came all to Qadian to listen to their Imam or their spiritual leader, the Imam Mahdi of the time. And since then, a handful of people started attending, and every year that attendance grew strength to strength, and thousands were attending towards the end of the last days of the life of the founder of the community. And then this continued during the time of the successors of the promised Messiah, and the Qadian in India at that time was the location, and the dates were at the end of December dates, which were usually public holiday, and people would travel. And those who don't know, Punjab in the winters can get really, really cold in the evenings, but people will travel from all over India, and soon they would travel from all over the world to come and attend this blessed gathering. Now, usually this gathering is held over 3 days. In Qadian, it used to be held at multiple locations, so there would be a program or the agenda where the mosques in the town would hold different sessions. But soon it went, so it became so large that people had to erect a stage outside of the town, or where they would come and meet in a large ground. And that still exists in Qadian, and Jalsa is still held. So in terms of where this Jalsa is held, so I started with Qadian. Every country where the community is established holds this Jalsa as a continuation of the tradition of the founding of this Jalsa as an institution. And the promised Messiah has specifically prayed for the people who attend this Jalsa, and this community, wherever we go, wherever we establish ourselves, start holding this Jalsa or conference for every country. So in the UK, for example, is held in the summer months, coinciding with the school holiday, so that families can also attend. But in other countries, the dates can vary. that in most countries this will be held over a convenient time, which is where everybody is able to travel and attend.
Thank you, Lutf. So starting in a small village in the north of India called Qadian, the first Jalsa Salana attendance was around 74 people, if I'm not mistaken. And as Lutf says, it's rightly grown and established in every single country. Bringing us back to the United Kingdom, Atiq, where back in 1964, the establishment of this great event and institution, the Jalsa Salana, the first Jalsa Salana in the United Kingdom was held at Fazl Mosque. Can you tell us a little about that?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's such a wonderful thought, actually, very full of nostalgia, because I wasn't around at that time, but certainly in the sort of late 70s, we got more of an idea of how the Jalsas were being held in the UK. But certainly from 1964 onwards, there was just a handful of community members. So it was, I have a smile on my face because I'm thinking about maybe 100 to 200 people. And then outside we've got about 40 to 50,000. And, over a period of just several decades, how the community has, and this is not specific to the UK, I have to say, but the community has evolved by the grace of God so much, has progressed so much, and so many hundreds of thousands of people are coming into the fold per decade, if we look at it from that as a figure, that these, wherever we are, including Alton, the space, we're running out of space. There's not enough space to hold that many community members, and that's why I'm naturally smiling. It's an expression of the joy of how we've grown. And you mentioned the London Mosque, and that those conventions were very, very small. They were held, of course, over 3 days, but you've got a few people, maybe figure-wise, maybe 100, 200 people, maybe a bit more. Over the years, the figures did actually go up much more.
If I'm not mistaken, there's a beautiful photograph of the then Imam of the London Mosque, Bashir Ahmed Rafiq, in the garden of Fazl Mosque, as you rightly say, and the official figures attendance was around 400, I'm led to believe. And we've got Sir Chaudhry Zafrullah Khan Sahab standing at a makeshift podium delivering a speech.
Yes.
And we've all been to Fazl Mosque. We know the grounds there, and how beautiful they are, but how small they are. And as you've said so eloquently, from those humble beginnings, 400 people, small grounds, it's almost like a garden party in those days. And now here in Alton, it's a huge festival, a beautiful festival with 40, 50,000 people.
And everything is running so slick, everything is organized in a way. I mean, just now, let's say, I don't know how many people are here, but as we walked into the studio, but it's lunchtime. So you're looking at least definitely 30,000 plus people, male and female, for lunch.
I heard yesterday that there was at least 36,000 people that went through scanning. So it's a huge number.
Well, you would never tell.
No, because it's so seamless, isn't it?
It's so seamless, and people are eating. Everybody gets fed. Everybody has tea. Everybody can have fresh drinking water. It's just amazing that there's that many people on a site here in Hampshire being catered for without us even knowing of any. I mean, it's so smooth.
It's a very seamless operation.
It's brilliant.
And we are part of it. So we're very proud to be these volunteers. Each of us have a duty to perform during the Jalsa. But back in 1964, because it was not a central Jalsa, it was just a country-based, it's the UK Jalsa, it's just for the UK people. But this Jalsa is not just for the UK people. This is what we call an international Jalsa, meaning that it is because of the presence of His Holiness Hazrat Khalifatul Masih V becomes the focal point for all the world. So MDs from all the world are now following this Jalsa very closely, either on on TV, on MTA, or through different channels, because it does go out on YouTube and other social media as well. So it becomes almost like a test for us in the UK to make sure that we are setting the right standard. When people watch it, they know that how these big events are run. Even those external guests who come, the members of parliament, and the first thing they kind of comment on, apart from how happy and bustling this place is how well organized this is and how everybody seems to know what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, by the grace of Allah, as you mentioned, the whole Jalsa Salana organisation committee runs into thousands. If I'm not mistaken, it's well over 5,000 volunteers in various departments over the course of the 3 days, obviously, of Jalsa. But the preparation, the marquees, the food, the setting up of the studios, and so on and so forth, because this is a farmland, right? There's no purpose-built buildings here that we just turn up and plug in and away we go. The whole infrastructure has to be set up. Everything needs to be organised, and then after the Jalsa completes on the Sunday evening, everything has to be taken down again.
I think one of the beauties having, I think certainly for us three being involved since we were toddlers, right, literally running around, to see even the development of here. Look where we are in the Voice of Islam studio, and the majority of the workers, the volunteers, are self-taught. And the same happened for MTA. I remember in the early days how MTA started, and it's not easy, but it self-taught means the community has the skill sets, from lawyers to doctors to surgeons to international, big guns or whatever you call them, managing committees and chief execs of organizations, to just those who have dedicated their life to serving humanity through the message of Islam Ahmadiyya. Everybody gathers together, and collectively, when you want to learn, when you want to start something new, the community is self-sufficient. The point I'm trying to make is, like Voice of Islam, here we are. I mean, it's 10 years, it's amazing. And I know you're going to touch upon this, but everybody's, taught themselves, and we're looking at the screen and it says everything is fine to us, and it's so nice, and around the table, and it's got a time, and you've got some jingles here, inserts that you can use, and how advanced it is from where it was, with a tie clip mic, and the same with MTA.
I have to make that we are around the table, but this is kind of slightly curved, not round. But, if those who can watch us.
But how Rafi and Lutf, how we've progressed, and this is the same with the tea making and the roti plant, and
the roti plant is now
just internationally recognized, aren't they? As symbols of
it's
wow.
a phenomenal enterprise, and the beauty of it is, as you've alluded to, is that you've got people from different backgrounds, very, very different backgrounds, working together, maybe doing the same role, but and volunteering, but just all with the one intention, and that is to please their Creator, please God Almighty, who can accept their voluntary service, and so that they can help make this event a success, make sure the guests of the promised Messiah who have come to Jalsa Salana are treated with a smile and helped as best they can, despite the pressures, the long hours, and in this year the intense heat as well. But everyone's got a smile on their face. Everyone is happy to see you. Everyone is happy to serve you.
One example, I went for tea earlier this morning, and the tea stall caters for thousands, and it's 24 hours. Tea is available. You must try it if you're here and you're listening in. But I was talking to somebody in the queue. It was a long queue. We waited, and I said, "Oh, what are you doing? Oh, what's your duty?" I said, "Oh, just a bit of press and this and that." And he said, "Okay." I said, "What about you?" "Oh, I've got a 6-hour washroom duty, so I have to clean the toilets and whatnot." And you're just like so happy and smiling, and it just gives you an idea that it doesn't matter on the responsibility. Everybody is happy to serve, so they have that little part, and that is so important, because that actually does become quite emotive, I have to say, because so many people we know this year have passed away, and And I think about them because you just wonder, that they was to be getting ready for Jalsa.
Yes.
And how they must be feeling, but then it was their time to go, and we're here, and life seems so, just, I don't know, just seamless sometimes, doesn't it? It just carries on. And
you mentioned that bit last night, the organisers, and it's a long-held tradition that those people who've passed away in the previous 1 year and their names are announced so that everyone can pray for the deceased and pray for the family members that they've left behind, and the list obviously grows as the community grows, and it is. We all personally lost very close family and friends in the last 1 year, but it gives us a time to reflect on the good that they have served the community, and the prayer is that we are able to do likewise.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we also instill this in our next generation. So it's not it's kind of joining the two generations, the ones who have passed and the one who are coming up, and us kind of in the middle, hopefully with some time, Allah knows. But to have that tradition carry on. And I think, because I work in press and publicity department, and sometimes you think about, how would somebody who is not a Muslim, who doesn't know what Jalsa is, and especially in this very individualistic kind of a society where every individual is themselves, and of course they will go into festivals and gatherings, but it's purely for entertainment purposes. Seldom, I mean, there are religious gatherings, I'm not disputing that, but I think majority of the world is kind of more now towards looking inward and look at themselves and what they are as a human. Their own existence becomes the sole purpose of most people's lives, and that's the case with many Muslims as well. And I'm not excluding Ahmadis as well, but these jalsas, the reason we hold them is to bring people together, to show that there is a bigger purpose than just one individual's kind of existence that's at play here, right? And what you've described is people coming and providing a service free of charge, just for the sake of God, is that exercise that is necessary for us to undertake every year. And of course we do it more times than a year, by the grace of Allah Ta'ala, that we are able to serve, and that gives us a meaning and a purpose to our lives, which is the one reason why Allah Ta'ala or God has sent prophets and religion, is to give us a purpose to serve and to please God. And so these gatherings are not just nice get-togethers. There's more to it. And the reason why UK Jalsa becomes so special is because of the presence of the Khalifatul Masih. And it was 1984 that the Khalifatul Masih had migrated from Pakistan to UK. And this Jalsa has become an institution on its own in the UK since then, because before it was Rabwa in Pakistan. And those who are not aware, that the government of Pakistan in that year had passed a law almost making it illegal for the Khalifa to remain there as a free person, because just the title would make him break the law that at that time the military dictator had passed. So when he migrated, the Jalsa also migrated with him, so to speak, the central Jalsa. We are sitting in Alton, at Hadeeqatul Mahdi. Not far from here is another plot of land which now hosts a beautiful new mosque, the Mubarak Mosque. And that site was originally purchased for Jalsa in 1985. And there people would gather and have that Jalsa for 3 days.
That's right. I mean, we're coming to a news break in a few seconds. So, but just to wrap up on that point, Lutf, from the Fazl Mosque to booking halls and town halls for our Jalsa Salana, the site of Islamabad in Tilford was purchased, and then the Jalsa Salana took on a new meaning. It took on a whole new aura, because, as Lutf says, the Khalifa of the time was present, and everything was organized under his auspices.
Yes, I think we have to break for news now. So yes, we'll talk about that and the catapult effect that occurred as a result.
Thank you. Yeah, let's take a short break as we go to the news. Assalamu alaikum, peace be with you. Join us straight back after the news.
From the heart of Hadeeqatul Mahdi, this is Voice of Islam Radio, your spiritual companion throughout Jalsa Salana UK 2026. Experience the power of unity, hear inspiring
أحمدا أين الهدى مفني العدا برا كريما محسنا ظهر العطايا والجدا يا قلبي يذكر أحمدا أين الهدى مفني العدا برا كريما محسنا بحر العطايا والجدا محمد 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 رسول الله رسول الله رسول الله محمد رسول الله يا رب صل على نبيك دائما في هذه الدنيا وباس ثاني يا رب صل على نبيك دائما في هذه الدنيا وبعث ثاني محمد 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 رسول الله رسول الله رسول الله محمد رسول الله صل على نبينا صل على محمد صل على حبيبنا صل على محمد صل على نبينا صل على محمد صل على حبيبنا.
Assalamu alaikum, peace be with you, and welcome back to a very special edition of Around the Table, broadcasting live from the Voice of Islam studios in Alton at the Jalsa Salana site in Hadeeqatul Mahdi. And we continue our discussion with Lutful Islam and Atiq Bhatti around the historical Jalsa Salanas here in the United Kingdom. And I think we got to the early 80s when the site in Tilford was purchased in Sheephatch Lane. And that became our Jalsa Salana site for the next 20 odd years.
Yes, what an absolutely beautiful time actually in the history of the community for the UK, where we saw that site, which was 25 acres, go from literally a site for sports and academic competitions, which are called ijtimas for the youth and the elders, male and female, and to being a site where we would have Eid, which is the two festivals, one after the month of Ramadan and one 2 months and 10 days after for the Eid festival of sacrifice. Then went to Jalsa, which is the annual convention. And in those days, we had a big marquee and we would wonder, I remember fondly because every year I had the opportunity to do car park duty, as we all did, or paint the barracks, which, oh my God, that was the hardest thing to do. Never again, you know. But 2 weeks before Jalsa, painting those barracks with the brown paint in the heat, and they wouldn't. I mean, it was just a lot, But anyway, it was fun days. I joke, but really beautiful days. And Jalsa was, you'd have 10,000 people attending, maybe more. The atmosphere was so beautiful, and His Holiness, the fourth Caliph of the community, would be walking around. We would see that. We would see that at Eid as well. And it was like, wow, this site is so big. From here to the holy ground where Masjid Mubarak, where the mosque is, the Mubarak Mosque is now actually in a place which we used to refer to as the holy ground. And there used to be a small book library there. And we thought, this is so big. Like a couple of years later, it's like, what are we going to do? This is so small. And it was really hard, because the community it was a catalyst buying or purchasing, should I say, or acquiring, for want of a better word, Islamabad, Tilford. That purchasing that land acted as a catalyst for the growth of the community, because everybody came and settled, and it was beautiful.
Indeed. And when we heard it's 25 acres, I mean, most of us didn't even know what that was. So, you come and visit the site, and as you say, Hadeeq, starting from one corner to the other corner, taking you, an hour or so. When you're walking, you're young at that age, and you're thinking, gosh, this is huge. Why have we bought such a big place? And then in one of the speeches, I remember the Khalifatul Masih at the time, Hazrat Mirza Tahir Ahmad, may Allah be pleased with him, he said, oh, there'll come a time when this will be too small for us, and we'll have to look for a bigger place, and then that will become too small for us, and we'll have to look for an even bigger place. And you're thinking, oh well, the marquee here is massive, but it's getting full now. When's this going to happen? And we're all three of us sat here, and we've seen the growth in our own lifetimes.
It's absolutely amazing. Honestly, it's so interesting what you've just said, because we actually we're witness to this. We've seen it from looking at those barracks and thinking, oh my God, this is going to take a week to paint, to now thinking it's tiny. Literally, that place, the land is so tiny. It just takes literally a few minutes. Okay, yes, a perception because we were young, but nevertheless, 25 acres is 25. It's a big place, right? And then it just so happened that Baitul Fatu, of course, was used not for Jalsa, right, but to house the guests, and it was like Europe's largest mosque at that time. Was like 10,000 worshippers, 15,000, and that's too big. There's not enough space to park anymore. It's so full, and we're talking normal days, not Jalsa. And then we've got here Hadeeqatul Mahdi, which is the gardens of the Messiah, the gardens of the Mahdi, and named after the founder of the community, of course. But this is also becoming small, and you'll see the videos on TikTok and on social media. Just follow us at Jalsa UK. And please like and follow and comment and whatnot, and you'll see the site in action and how absolutely phenomenal it is and how big and vast. But it still feels small now, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So from Fazl Mosque, from the gardens of Fazl Mosque to the gardens in Islamabad, to the gardens of the Mahdi here in Hadeeqatul Mahdi, but less than what is it? It must have been 400 meters, that garden, the length of it. You got 25 acres, and then this is around 250 220 acres, something like that. And even this now feels small. The one point I wanted to make when you mentioned the painting and so as youngsters, we were all encouraged to come and spend some volunteer time to help get the site ready. It was all done by volunteers, and I believe that period was so formative in the training of a whole generation under the directions of Khalifatul Masih, the Khalifa of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. So he kind of directed every small minor thing, from we need to paint these barracks, or we need to construct these temporary toilets, so we need to make sure that the langar has enough gas in order to do the cooking. All those details were meticulously planned and executed. And I think it's also right to mention all those people who were officers of the Jalsa Salana and Jalsa Gah over the years, people that actually were responsible for managing the committee of the organisers as well.
And it started with quite a few people, of course, because we've got a working organising committee. But now it's in the thousands. Literally, if you see, there's printed names across one of the marquees where you can see all the departments alongside the workers, the heads and the helpers and the supporters. And it's literally thousands. You can't read them all because it's like you think, wow, so many. And that's just the top layer, almost the medium layer, and then you've got all the thousands of volunteers at any age, from a tiny toddler holding a water bottle to in the heat to help people, the elderly, to the most aged person who maybe has mobility issues. We've seen this, and you'll see these clips on social media. Of course, you will. Who will still be helping in his or her capacity to do something, to be involved in this. I mean, there's no other place on earth like it.
No, it's incomparable, isn't it?
I mean, it is a training that one can use in day-to-day life. How to organize things, how to follow instructions. I think some people really struggle in the modern day and age to follow instructions or follow somebody's lead, or accepting that there's a way to do things, and if somebody is put in charge, then you must follow. So it kind of is a moral kind of training ground for a lot of the youngsters, who will then go and become very useful citizens in their countries, in the UK primarily, but other countries. Volunteers come from other countries. Now it's such a big thing that we got, busloads of people coming from mainland Europe, countries, Canada, America, and come and spend time. There's a whole wind down team that comes from, I believe, Canada. Yeah.
That's right. It's a plane load of people that fly over, attend the Jalsa, and then roll their sleeves up to help with the wind up.
And from Germany, we have the bikers.
Yeah.
The bikers
with the president, the Amir
Yeah.
of the community, the national president. We're leading the way. And that's just two very small examples, because there are so many of them.
Yeah. And the reason why we do it is, of course, it's a religious duty, and people who come out of that religious obligation, but their heart is in it. You can tell. It's not that they've been dragged. They're waiting eagerly for the Jalsa, like us. You can sense the butterflies. The weeks before, and the others who are actually working behind the scenes throughout the year to make sure that the next Jalsa, when the time comes, happens seamlessly, and they're even the environment is being taken care of. That's something that I've noticed in recent years, that recycling, there's a heavy focus on that, using biodegradable, consumable kind of stuff. That's also like your plates, paper plates, and spoons. So there's a lot of focus on being environmentally friendly. Being environmentally friendly means that we are responsible. We do not waste food, for example. That's also a part of it, and you'll see that in action. And people who come are car share, most of them, although the traffic becomes heavy around the area. But you can understand that with 50,000 plus people coming, the country lanes aren't really designed for that. But you will still see that the traffic load is probably much better than any other minor event happening somewhere else, because being managed by the volunteers who have years and decades of experience in managing these things. And above all, it is the atmosphere that we create here of kind of mutual brotherhood. That's very important, especially an event of this size. And I've been to other events, even scientific conferences, and you see that people getting tired or weary of crowds, or having a stern word with somebody because they're not happy with a certain arrangement, or complaining. You don't hear that here, right? Everybody seems to be, content with what's been provided. It's not, perfect. It's not as your home comforts you get, but whatever you get is given to you or offered to you love and sincerity, and is received with love and sincerity.
I mean, the directives of His Holiness Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, may Allah be his helper, on the Thursday evening on the inspection and inauguration duties, he mentioned to the volunteers that obviously the long shifts is going to be tiring, but you must always greet guests with a smile and be polite and be patient, and also to the guests, he mentioned that you should have a level of forbearance and patience as well. So it's a two-way street, isn't it? But it's an important point that driven by the love to serve. I mean, that's the essence, isn't it, of the volunteering side. But I know we've only got a short time left, but I want to come back to the real purpose of Jalsa Salana, which is to reignite that union with God Almighty. I mean, that was the purpose. That was the founding essential piece that the promised Messiah initiated the Jalsa Salana, is to do the moral training, the religious training, but essentially all of that leads to the individual's attachment and the individual's connection with his Creator.
It's in today's society, in the world that we're living in, which is extremely volatile, and God knows what will happen, just a few months down the line, because it's so tragic how those in power seem to be the direction they seem to be heading towards. And it's almost like, I would say, power is not for those who understand, because it's everybody else seems to understand, but those in power do not. And it's such a strange mechanism, and the components of all of that argument. But anyway, I totally digressed, but the point was that this is a means of the annual convention, wherever it may be from the Ahmadi Muslim community, is a means to salvation. Salvation cannot be achieved just once. Salvation is also progress, just like serving humanity is progress, just like the more that you serve, the more love that you have, the more humble you become. We can't force ourselves to become humble, but the larger the tree grows, the heavier it becomes, the more humble it becomes. So humility is something that is not in our minds. Humility just happens because as you're young, you're told to look after and to care and to love and to nurture the guests of the promised Messiah. And that makes you humble, and that's a beautiful thing, and there's nothing wrong with talking about that, because that leads to ultimately recognition of the Creator, because you're already trying to fulfill the rights of the creation. At Jalsa, for example, this is a living example of fulfilling the rights of God's creation. It's here, we're seeing it. And then fulfilling the rights of the Creator, we're praying behind the Caliph, the one person. As Ahmadi Muslims, we believe out of whatever 8.5 billion people on this planet, was chosen by God Almighty to lead people to salvation. So this is what it's about. This is the real deal. This is not something this is not a Hollywood movie or Netflix. This is Jalsa Salana. This is the convention. You want to help yourself, because at the end of the day, we have to carry our own when we pass. You want to help yourself, then you're in the right place.
It's a transformative experience. Every year you think to yourself, how can it get better? How can my connection with God improve? How can I be a better person? Have I reached that? We're all very weak in our own ways, but then you measure yourself and you pray and you try to improve on certain things. And the prayers behind the Caliph, as you say, then for me personally, the ultimate international Ba'ath ceremony, where you pledge your allegiance to the Caliph of the time. I mean, that's a phenomenal experience in itself.
When you were talking about that, I was remembering back the words of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih from yesterday's inaugural address, which was basically righteousness, taqwa. That taqwa is the ultimate aim for a believer, right? And what is taqwa? It is it is translated as righteousness. It's more than that. It is God consciousness. I've been thinking about it today, that you have to be mindful that there's a God and you need to connect with that God. And you can only connect with that God by killing your own ego. And killing your own ego can come with prayer and supplication and getting up at night and doing your tahajjud prayers, which is prescribed by the promised Messiah, that all Ahmadis should at least do some tahajjud prayers every morning. But in practical term, it also means to serve and to come and control your temper and emotions and be of service to others. And that's universal. Other religions also do that. In Christianity, there's a tradition of, killing one's ego through becoming monks and hermits. And in Hinduism, there's yogis and people, ascetics. But in Islam, it teaches us to keep the balance, and the balance is that, of course, you have to live in the world, you have to make a living, do all that, but your aim should be in the end to serve God and serve the creation of God while being a part of the society.
I think what you've mentioned something very, very profound, which is killing ego, because we can't, again, like humility, we can't force ourselves to kill our ego. But because ego, it's part of intrinsic human design. It's who we are as human beings. It's going to be there, just like anger, and we can suppress anger, but otherwise we're all going to be angry all the time. Just getting behind a car is enough sometimes, isn't it, nowadays in England? But anyway, no comment. But ego is, again, by seeing this atmosphere outside of thousands and thousands of people, no arguments. The police, we know from experience, are quite for in the best possible way, bored because there's nothing to do. It's like there's nothing, there's no altercations, there's no ups and downs or any arguments of any kind, and they're just like enjoying the sight themselves. And it comes to ego as well, because when you're young and you're told that there's all these people in a marquee, and your duty, if you want to, is to help them by giving them water because it's really hot. And they turn out to be heart surgeons and scientists and professors and whatnot, and researchers around the world. They will always come back, and they do, because it's real life, and they will love to do that same thing. And they do that. This is not just wishful thinking. It's actually happening on the ground. How many doctors and quantum theorists are out there at this moment, helping somebody by serving them food or making the dough that will turn into a naan, or working in the, list goes on. I know I'm just jumping from here and there, but it's just to show you that it doesn't matter of what is it, race, religion, creed. Everyone is one. It's united because of the caliph. That is actually the pivotal point. That's the reason the community is united, because of caliphate.
Yeah, and that brings us back to the point of the Ba'ath, which is the allegiance to the caliphate.
Yeah, I mean, the Caliph, the Khalifatul Masih, is the focus of Jalsa, because the promised Messiah, peace be upon him, when he instituted it, wanted people to come and visit him and stay in his company. The company of the righteous is another instruction of the Quran, that we must keep company of the righteous. And who is the most righteous? Is the one appointed by Allah, or his successor, also appointed by God, because that's the institution of Khilafat is in our belief is that the Khalifa is appointed by God only, and so we are here to be in his company, and people feel themselves fortunate to stand behind him in congregational prayers for these 3 or 4 days, how long they stay here, and that becomes a way of cleansing oneself. And people do explain or describe the feeling of praying in the company of the Khalifa is like no other prayer. I mean, Muslims pray 5 times a day, every day, but these prayers mean something very, very special for a lot of those people who are here. And the Ba'ath itself is a pledge which is renewed for most of us, but some of us who are here, it may be the first time that they've actually decided to join the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, because in essence the Ahmadiyya Muslim community is the revival of Islam. So and the diversity that we see now in Jalsa has gone up by many folds, since it started. So before it would have been immigrants from the subcontinent where the movement started, but now you see faces, colors, creeds, people from all over, from all the backgrounds that you can imagine. You will find them here, and so they come and they become one at the hand of the Khalifa on the third day. So it's going to be tomorrow. Everybody's eagerly awaiting to renew their pledge of allegiance, which is it's an Islamic custom. It's not like something has been invented by the community. So it goes back to the time of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be upon him, that when he used to accept people into Islam, or people wanted to join Islam, they would come and pledge their allegiance at his hand, and the same pledge now is continued in our community. And there are 10 conditions outlined by the promised Messiah, and we pledge ourselves to serve God and mankind, and to be tied in this bond of brotherhood with the Prophet Messiah and his successors.
Yeah, I mean, difficult question for you, Deek, and I'll come to you as well. But what does that mean to you as an individual?
The International Pledge of Allegiance?
Yeah.
That's a very deep question. Personally, to me, what it means is it gives me hope that, it gives me hope that God, forgive me for my errors, mistakes, things that we all do through life, which is life. There's, to be honest, nothing wrong with it either, because you learn from your mistakes, and then if you didn't commit sins, then you cannot turn to your Creator to ask Him for forgiveness. So it defeats the whole object of creation, does it not? But anyway, again, I digress. But
hope is a good
that.
word. Yeah, hope is a good word to sum up. Look, for you?
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is awe, right? That this, we are. I come back to the idea of the ego. So I think our ego builds up over the year, and you come and break it, you cut it down to size at best, right? When you are sitting in that throng of people, all hand to shoulder to each other, saying the words, and the words of repentance again and again and again. And recently Huzur has started repeating it for Urdu speakers as well in Urdu, so you do it twice. So you repeat the words in English with all the rest, and then there's another bath, which is the same words repeated in Urdu, and you're kind of asking for forgiveness for your mistakes, your shortcomings, your sins, and reaffirming your it's almost like cleansing yourself of the weaknesses that you may have happened in the past, because the purpose of life is to connect with God, and we all keep trying, and many of us fail, and we try again, and this bath is kind of a little bolt of lightning that is required to kind of restart, kind of jumpstart that process again. So for us it is, for me it is just that little spark that's needed every year. When I go back, you get to go about your business, but this math kind of resonates in your ears for weeks, right? You can hear the words, and that the voice in the unison, and that connection with Khalifa becomes strong, because in the company of the righteous has to be a company of the soul, right? I mean, physically we're here, but then that connection with Khalifa, that not only that that he's praying for you, but also that you're praying for him. And that continues day in and day out. My personal kind of reflection would be that the love for Khilafat improves every year. It increases every year, and I'm happy with that.
That's beautiful. Thank you for that. I know we've only got a few moments left, but I think it's important to also mention the fact that, yes, we're giving our experience as members of the community who attend Jalsa Salana, but this is no means an internal event. We have hundreds, if not thousands, of guests from outside the community who join us to participate and to see what goes on, and we welcome guests from around the world, especially around Hampshire itself and the United Kingdom, to come and see for yourself. If you were unable to do so this year, we extend your invitation for next year, and please get in touch with a member of the community, and I'm sure they'll be delighted to welcome you and host you at the Jalsa Salana next year, God willing.
Our socials are, the best place to come.
Yeah.
Right? Just
Reach out
at
social.
Jalsa UK on Twitter, on X actually, and on Facebook, and we will be.
Send us your comments now after this. If you've seen this live on YouTube or anywhere, send us your comments, nice ones, and we'll answer you back. We'll reply back. How's that?
Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much for your company for the last 50 minutes or so. Sadly, we're coming to the end of our time here. Thank you very much once again. Please do continue listening to the Voice of Islam over the course of these 3 days at Jalsa Salana. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be with you.
Rasulullah Muhammadur Rasulullah Ya qalbi yadhkur Ahmada Aina al-huda mufnil ida